From the very beginning, I've been telling you to let the woman chase you, not the other way around. And I know, that might sound ideal in theory, but in reality, it feels much harder to live by. You've been told to hold back, to let her come to you. But when you're in the moment, when emotions are real and silence stretches too long, you start to doubt. You wonder if maybe you should reach out first, if maybe waiting will cost you something. And to make things even more confusing, most women will tell you, "I'd never chase a man." And yet you've heard it said that a woman falls hardest for the man she pursues. So where does that leave you? Stuck somewhere between logic and instinct, unsure of what to believe or how to act. That's why this message matters, not just to help you navigate dating, but to help you reclaim the power of self-possession. Because this isn't about games, it's about grounding, it's about understanding what truly draws someone in and what silently pushes them away. In today's video, we're going to strip away the noise and get to the truth beneath it. The truth about attraction, presence, and the unspoken energy that speaks louder than any words. Welcome to Stoic Station, where clarity replaces confusion and calm replaces chase. Let's begin. 1. There are two types of chasing, logical versus emotional. Not every pursuit from a woman carries the same weight or the same truth. On the surface, both may look like affection, interest, even desire. But beneath the surface, there's a defining difference. One comes from her mind, and the other comes from her soul. And if you don't know which one you're receiving, you risk mistaking validation for love. Logical chasing is strategic. It's when a woman sees you as an opportunity rather than a connection. She notices your income, your reputation, the way others respect you. She studies your lifestyle and decides there's something to gain by being close to you. To her, it's simple math. If I'm with him, I win. She's drawn to the potential benefits of the relationship, not the emotional depth of it. It feels flattering at first. She laughs at your jokes, shows interest in your stories, maybe even initiates contact. But what she's really engaging with is what you represent, not who you are. And the moment someone else comes along with a shinier promise or more impressive credentials, her interest dissolves. Because it was never personal, it was practical. Emotional chasing is different. It's not loud or showy. In fact, it often begins in silence. In the unexplainable way her eyes soften when she's around you, the way she leans in just a little closer without realizing it. She can't pinpoint what it is about you that draws her in. It's not your bank account or your car or your social status. It's the way your energy settles a room, the way you speak with clarity, not performance, the way your presence feels like calm in a chaotic world. When a woman chases you emotionally, she's not calculating what she can gain. She's following something deeper, how you make her feel. And here's the truth most men overlook. You can't earn this kind of chasing by trying harder. You can't fake it with charm or effort. Emotional chasing only happens when you stop trying to be impressive and start being real, grounded, whole. When a man lives from his center, not from his ego, he becomes someone she doesn't just want to be with, but someone she feels pulled toward. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to be chased for what you have. It's to be chosen for who you are when no one is watching. That's where real connection begins. 2 stages in a relationship: hunting and chasing. Once you understand the difference between being chased for what you have and being pursued for who you truly are, you begin to see that genuine attraction follows a rhythm, one that unfolds in 2 distinct stages. And if you rush the rhythm or try to bend it to your will, you interrupt the very nature of what draws 2 people together in a lasting, meaningful way. Every powerful connection is built on polarity, the unspoken current between presence and response, approach and return. At the heart of that polarity lies the hunting phase. This is when you, as a man, initiate, not out of need, but from fullness. You don't seek her attention because you're lacking something or trying to be validated. You step forward because you are whole, and you have something grounded, calm, and magnetic to offer. The way you speak to her, the way you carry yourself, even the way you listen, all of it becomes a quiet invitation, not a plea for approval. You are not trying to prove anything. You are simply expressing interest from a place of peace. And that peace, if real, begins to ripple into her awareness. If there's resonance between you, if your energy aligns with something inside her she didn't even know she was looking for, she will begin to lean in. The dynamic shifts, subtly at first. A glance that lingers, a message she initiates, an effort she makes without you asking. This is the beginning of the chasing phase. When a woman begins to chase, it's not because you've convinced her to, it's because your presence stirred something within her. A curiosity, a sense of safety, a pull she doesn't want to ignore. She doesn't chase because you demanded it. She chases because you sparked something that made her want to come closer. That desire is sacred. It only grows in space, in freedom, in contrast. But when you try to force it, when you text too often, seek constant reassurance, or become too available, you interrupt that sacred rhythm. You shift from presence to pressure, and pressure always collapses the polarity that attraction needs to breathe. To create a space where she naturally starts to pursue you, you must first embody calm leadership. Lead with stillness, not need. Offer consistency, not performance. Let her feel the steadiness of a man who does not chase, but who chooses, who invites without insisting. Because when you truly understand this flow, when you respect the natural progression from hunting to being chased, you stop trying to control connection and start allowing it to unfold. That's where real power lives. And in the chapters that follow, we'll explore how to lead this dance without ever losing yourself in the process. Now that you understand the rhythm between hunting and chasing, and the necessity of letting attraction unfold rather than forcing it, we need to focus on the foundation of that rhythm, the hunting phase. This is where everything begins, and if you misstep here, the rest will never flow the way it's meant to. Because this phase isn't about getting her attention. It's about showing up as a man who knows how to lead without needing to control. Being the leader doesn't mean being dominant. It means being centered, so secure in who you are that you move first, not with fear or doubt, but with calm intention. Leadership in romance is quiet but certain. It's not about chasing her or convincing her. It's about making a decision and extending a clear, confident invitation. When you ask, "When are you free?" what you're really doing is handing her the wheel. You're asking her to lead. But when you say, "There's a place I'd love to take you, let me know which evening works best," you've shifted into leadership. You're not waiting for her to give you permission to act. You've already acted. You've already created a container for the connection to take place, and now all she has to do is step into it. And this kind of leadership, especially in your 30s and 40s, becomes more important than ever. By now, most women have been through enough to recognize the difference between a man who moves with purpose and one who moves from uncertainty. They don't want a man who hesitates, second guesses, or constantly seeks validation. They want a man who knows what he's offering and knows where he's headed. A man who doesn't need to rush or prove himself because he's already built a life that speaks for him. To lead well, you must let go of needing a particular outcome. Don't try to engineer how she will feel, how she'll respond, or what the end result will be. Leadership isn't about control. It's about offering something solid and letting it stand on its own. It's about clarity without pressure, direction without desperation. So when you speak, speak with intention. When you make plans, make them with confidence, and when you invite her into your world, do so from a place that says, "You're welcome here, but I'll be fine either way." That energy is rare, and women feel it deeply. You're not here to follow, you're here to lead, not because you're above her, but because you've built the inner strength to walk first, with grace. And that's what turns interest into attraction, and attraction into something meaningful. 4. How to behave on a date. Spark emotion and maintain value. Once you've established yourself as a man who leads, not with pressure, but with presence, what you do next becomes just as important. The invitation sets the tone, but the way you carry the moment determines whether it lingers in her mind or fades the second she walks away. And here's the truth. Great dates don't depend on luxury or spectacle. They hinge on connection, on emotional depth. When you're with her, be fully there. Don't fill the silence with talk of traffic or what happened at work. That's noise. What she'll remember is the way you made her feel, curious, heard, maybe even a little exposed in the best way. Ask questions that touch something deeper. What makes her feel alive? What memory changed her? What's something she's never told anyone but always wanted to? These are the moments where you stop being one of many and become unforgettable. But presence isn't just about what you say, it's also about knowing when to say less. Most men ruin great dates by dragging them out, searching for certainty, or trying to secure the next one before she's even left. Don't do that. When the energy peaks, when laughter is easy and the connection is real, that's when you end it. No over-explaining, no promises. Let the air breathe between you. That space is where desire grows. She doesn't chase because you gave her everything. She chases because you gave her a feeling she wants to feel again. Your job isn't to impress, it's to awaken something she didn't expect. And then leave her wanting more. That's how you stay unforgettable. That's how you lead even in silence. 5. Stick to a confident system of initiation. After you've created an unforgettable emotional experience on the date, the next step is just as critical: how you follow up, and more importantly, how you don't. This is the stage where most men lose themselves. They go from grounded to anxious, from composed to over-invested. And the shift is subtle. One too many texts, one too many just checking in messages, one too many attempts to chase certainty instead of allowing curiosity to build. But real connection isn't built in the overflow, it's built in the restraint. Initiation is not about constant motion, it's about measured energy. When you operate with emotional discipline instead of emotional hunger, you become magnetic. There's power in not flooding her with messages. There's power in letting the silence do some of the work. Text her once a week, no more. Not to beg, not to seek validation, but to offer a calm, open invitation into your world. That's all. It says, I'm here, I'm consistent, I'm centered, and I won't chase you, but I'm not afraid to welcome you. That kind of energy is rare. Most women, especially in their 30s and 40s, have encountered enough men who over-pursue, panic in silence, or treat connection like a negotiation. But a man who can hold steady through uncertainty, a man who can maintain his rhythm regardless of how fast or slow she moves, that's the kind of presence she feels before she even understands why. It's the kind of man she doesn't want to risk losing. And when she begins to text you first, when she starts reaching out, asking when she'll see you again, sending messages without prompts, that's not random. That's the return. That's the shift from polite curiosity to genuine investment. But you can't force that moment. You can only hold your ground and allow it to arrive when it's ready. This is where patience reveals your confidence. You're not trying to win her over. You're not auditioning. You're simply living your life, staying centered, and letting her decide whether she wants to be part of that world. There's no pressure because you've already chosen yourself. And by doing that, you teach her something powerful, not just about you, but about how she's expected to show up. A man who values his time sends a message without saying a word. He teaches others how to treat him by how he treats himself. So let your system reflect that truth. You don't need to over-explain. You don't need to push. Let your consistency speak louder than your words. Because when she starts to chase your presence, not your attention, you'll know you've done it right. And the best part? You never had to chase anything to get there. You just had to hold your center. 6. The chasing phase, when she starts pursuing you. When you've followed a steady, confident rhythm of initiation, when you've given space for her desire to unfold naturally, there comes a quiet yet powerful shift. She starts to reach out more often. Her texts arrive without prompting. She asks when she'll see you again. And in that moment, it's easy to let excitement take the wheel. After all, the dynamic has finally changed. But this is exactly where emotional discipline becomes more important than ever. The temptation is to match her new energy with full intensity, to make yourself constantly available, to respond instantly, to rearrange your life to accommodate her attention. But if you do, you risk collapsing the very mystery and strength that drew her in. This is where many men unconsciously give away their power, thinking that once she begins to chase, the goal has been achieved. But attraction isn't a finish line. It's a dance that continues through contrast, between closeness and space, warmth and boundaries. Let her feel your presence, yes, but also your independence. Don't abandon the things that give your life meaning. Don't cancel your routines, your goals, your solitude. She wasn't drawn to you because you had nothing else going on. She was drawn to you because you carried yourself like a man who had a full life, and invited her into it without losing yourself in the process. Keep honoring that. You're no longer trying to gain her attention. You're simply choosing what energy you accept into your life. You're not being distant out of strategy, but present with intention. Every response you give should come from a place of alignment, not from a need to keep her interested. Because when you live this way, she doesn't just feel wanted, she feels respected. And more importantly, she respects you in return. So as her effort increases, stay rooted. Be generous with your presence, but protective of your peace. She's being granted access to your world, not ownership of it. That's the difference between being desired and being dependent. And that difference is everything. After reflecting deeply on the journey laid out in this series, from distinguishing the types of chasing, to leading with intention, to embracing emotional discipline, I've come to a simple yet powerful conclusion. Relationships that are built on clarity, presence, and authenticity will always outlast those driven by performance, pressure, or fear. So many men spend years confusing validation with love. We chase attention thinking it will lead to connection, only to realize that being wanted for what we have is not the same as being loved for who we are. That's why the difference between logical chasing and emotional chasing is so essential to understand. The former may feed your ego, but the latter feeds your soul. One fades when a better offer appears. The other deepens with time and space. The natural rhythm of attraction, through the hunting phase and into the chasing phase, isn't something to manipulate. It's something to respect. Leading doesn't mean pushing. Initiating doesn't mean overreaching. Instead, it means offering your presence without needing her response to validate it. When you understand that distinction, you stop trying to control the connection and you begin to trust its flow. For me, the greatest lesson was this: the man who doesn't chase isn't passive. He's powerful. He knows what he brings to the table. He leads with intention, holds space for mystery, and allows a woman's interest to grow organically. Not because he needs her to follow, but because his presence invites her to. He knows how to offer without overextending and how to remain available without being consumed. This shift in mindset transforms everything. You stop viewing her interest as a prize to win and start recognizing your peace as something worth protecting. You stop rushing toward connection and instead build it on real emotional resonance. You don't give everything at once. You give her a feeling she wants to return to. That's not manipulation. That's mastery. My advice? In today's fast-paced, validation-hungry world, the man who is still, intentional, and centered will always stand out. Let go of the need to be impressive. Lead with calm. Speak with purpose. Invite her in, but only when your soul is already full. And the biggest takeaway? Never chase a woman. Build a life so rooted in self-respect, depth, and emotional clarity that the right woman can't help but be drawn to it. Not because you reached out with desperation, but because you stood still with quiet strength. That's not just how attraction begins. That's how love endures. What I've shared with you throughout this series isn't just meant to empower men, it's also a gift to women. Because deep down, no woman truly desires a man who bends at her every whim. She craves the presence of a man who knows who he is, who challenges her to grow, who stands firm when she tests the boundaries, and she will test them. When she begins to pursue you, she may pull away just to see if you'll chase. Don't. Stay grounded. Stay still. Let your calm speak louder than your reaction. This is the quiet strength of the hunter, not the desperation of the chaser. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to Stoic Station. Join us as we continue to uncover the strength in stillness, the wisdom in restraint, and the power of becoming the man you were meant to be.